Yeah, I'm mad too, Midnight. I bought the entire world stock of paper from Bill, thinking I would get rich. I met this dude at a Kroger gas station, and when he told me he could get me rich, I did what any smart man would do. I bought $37 trillion worth of paper. The only problem is that someone bought $37 trillion worth of tree stock the following day, because apparently paper comes from trees and not a factory. I know, stupid. The only thing I can do now is call Bill to try and get me rich. It's the least he can do for me at this point.
Your call has been forwarded to an automatic voice message system.
Bill, call me back. The plan didn't work, and now I'm not rich, and that needs to change! Call me.
Ha! Fucking idiot.
While I'm waiting on Bill, what the f*** am I going to do now? Ah! More paper! Guys, this game is perfect, flawless. Oh, and did I mention perfect?
Nothing comes close to this game, guys. F*** the other games, f*** this shit, and f*** paper. Nothing comes close to this. This is the pinnacle of humanity, and we should destroy anything that isn't this specific Paper Mario game.
Are they gone? Oh, thank God. Sorry, some of the fan base for this game can be a little bit toxic, but now that that is out of the way, let's talk about Paper Mario the Thousand-Year Door.
Paper Mario 64 had some big shoes to fill after its success, and Intelligent Systems came right back to begin working on its sequel. Paper Mario 2 was unveiled at the Game Developers Conference of 2003 and was confirmed to be a direct sequel from its predecessor. The game had a playable demo in E3 of 2004 where the game was revealed to be named Paper Mario the Thousand-Year Door and was released later that year in October in North America.
Not much on the development side for this game. The only other interesting fact about this game is that 4 years after the game's development, Morgan Creek Productions sued Nintendo for the song they used in the Thousand-Year Door's trailer.
Nintendo used the song You're So Cool from the film True Romance. Morgan Creek accused them of illegally ripping the song to use it, but then the allegations were dropped after Nintendo showed proof that the licensing agency, Leo Burritt USA Incorporated, had licensed the song for the trailer.
I'm guessing that the creators put all their time into making a good game with a solid story instead of f***ing around during the developmental stage. Set the scene!
The game opens in the seaside town of Rogueport, and the game sets the tone at the beginning because there is a f***ing gallows in the center of this town. Later you see mobsters mugging a common Joe in the background. I thought I was playing a Mario game, not Mario Mafia 3. Peach and Toads were stopped to refill their ship on the way back to the Mushroom Kingdom from, somewhere. The game never says where they were coming from, so we'll just say,
Bean Kingdom.
Peach goes exploring the town alone.
Smart, because that always worked in the past for ya.
And she ends up buying a chest from a sketchy vendor. We cut to our hero and his superior brother, who receive a letter from Peach saying that the item in the chest she bought was a treasure map, and she asks Mario to come and assist her in finding the treasure. Upon Mario's arrival, he is jumped by some baddies. Mario escapes with the help of a Goomba named Goombella and discovers that Peach has gone missing in search for the Thousand-Year Door. This door is where the map leads to, but to open it, Mario must first collect the 7 crystal stars. Mario uses the map to discover the crystal stars' location and along the way hopefully discover the whereabouts of Princess Peach. It is soon revealed, however, that Peach is actually kidnapped by Sir Grotus and a secret society known as the X-Nauts. Look familiar? That's because these guys are who jumped Mario at the beginning of the game. Grotus kidnapped Peach because he believes that she is required for the treasure that is behind the door, and thus it is a race for Mario and the X-Nauts to find the crystal stars.
Much like in its predecessor, in Paper Mario the Thousand-Year Door, Peach is very smart and willing to help, even though she's captured.
Peach discovers a computer named Tech, who is an AI that is discovering certain ways of life. Peach teaches Tech emotional thinking and ideas in return for being able to send emails to Mario to assist him on his journey. With Peach giving Mario inside information and a new colorful crew by his side, Mario gathers the 7 crystal stars, and he uses them to enter the Thousand-Year Door.
But there's a twist!
The treasure inside of the Thousand-Year Door turns out to be the Shadow Queen, a demon that destroyed the world thousands of years ago. The X-Nauts kept Peach so that the Shadow Queen could possess Peach as a vessel.
But there's another twist!
The Shadow Queen betrays Grotus, and Mario uses the power of the crystal stars to free Peach and defeat the Shadow Queen. With Rogueport safe, Mario and Peach return home to ready for their next adventure. The story mixes up a few things from the generic Mario adventure. Yes, Peach is kidnapped, and you still have to find 7 star-shaped pieces of nonsense, but the things that they change up are just enough to keep me personally engaged. The Thousand Year Door does what any good sequel should do, and that is build off its predecessor. Paper Mario 64 had the segments in between chapters where you got to play as Princess Peach, and Intelligent Systems brings them right back, but also gives you an extra segment with a certain lovable King of Koopas. Just like in 64, these segments are always something to look forward to in between chapters. Bowser is given a B-side story treatment and is hilarious and it has nothing to do with the story. He jumps into it because he is offended that someone else kidnaps Peach besides himself. Bowser brings a throwback to Mario's NES days in the form of a 2D side-scroller. These aren't really that fun, but Bowser's personality and the writing carry those segments for me. And honestly, the writers brought their A-game once again, as the wit and charm of Paper Mario 64 is back, and it pours through the TV in every chapter and every character. The chapters in this game are very diverse, except for the first one.
I don't know why, but Nintendo always insists on starting out in a grass world where you go into a castle. Completely behooves my mind.
Past that, most of the chapters are, as previously stated, very diverse. In one chapter, Mario does, what every mustache plumber dreams of and takes on the title of the Great Gonzalez in the wrestling ring. You climb the ladder and discover that the ringleader is fucking sucking souls out of people to keep himself looking beautiful and young.
I can't say I blame him. Do you know how hard it is for me to keep my beauty up this day and age? The 10 years younger than I actually am look is very hard to pull off.
Another memorable chapter is even ripped straight out of Dungeons & Dragons, as a town's residents is mysteriously turning into pigs. When you discover the culprit responsible, he takes Mario's form and leaves you with nothing but your own shadow. Mario must team up with one of Grotes's agents to hunt him down and save the town, and even his own identity.
And of course, there's the wonderful chapter where you solve murder mysteries with the detective penguin Pennington. But here is where a lot of fans get defensive with the game. Not all chapters in this game are good.
The chapter where you go to the moon is quite boring. You know everywhere to traverse practically in the base because in the Peach segments leading up to this point, the game has shown you all of it. Even leading up to the moon should be something that gets us excited because you're going to space! But it feels tedious and droning because you have to find this guy.
Excuse me.
General White! This is one of those things the developers add in to pad the game timeout, and it feels quite tedious. You need this guy to operate the cannon to shoot you to the moon, but the game requires you to backtrack through every area in the game to find him, and he ends up being back where you started the search!
And that's not the only bad chapter.
Chapter 2 also wasn't very engaging for me. The gimmick is that a crystal star is in a big tree, and you have to take around 101 Pikmin-like creatures to find it. I like Pikmin, but in that game you have an easy way to gather all of your followers with a single button. You don't have that in the Thousand Year Door. You have to walk around and find each one of them if you lose them. Again, I couldn't help but get the feeling of tediousness, as when I play an RPG, I'm not there to play roundup.
But even in the midst of these bad chapters, the gameplay and characters kept me going, as any good RPG should.
The gameplay is brought over from Paper Mario 64, but it is improved across the board. It is still broken up into 2 segments of exploration and battling.
What do you think I want to talk about first?
Paper Mario The Thousand Year Door mixes Mario platforming into the RPG world. Most puzzles in the game are solved by jumping and using special abilities to discover the unique solution. Not all the puzzles are hard, but they add an element that makes the game stand out from other RPGs. The Thousand Year Door adds 4 new abilities that give Mario a lot more reach when exploring. Mario gets cursed not once, not twice, but 4 times, and the game can't help but poke fun of it, and it is so much fun. These curses allow Mario to turn into an airplane, flip into a flat surface, roll up into a tube, and fold into a boat so you can sushi around. Get it? Little Paper Mario 64 joke? Okay, I'll move on. These abilities didn't make me feel like, holy shit, the curses! But the great feeling of you discovering more of the hub world is amplified by the presence of these curses. Discovering new things in the hub town is much more engaging in the Thousand Year Door because, like in Paper Mario 64, Mario upgrades his weapons, aka his shoes and his hammer. But here, they also give him new powers in the overworld as well. As you upgrade the hammer, Mario can break tougher and tougher blocks, and when you upgrade his shoes, Mario can ground pound and coil himself up to launch into a super jump. And of course, we can't forget about
companions, bitches!
These guys are great, and are what most people will remember from this game. Probably because Mario looks like he's in another dimension half of the time. Throughout the journey, Mario picks up a total of 7 friends. These compadres are the charm of the game, and that begins with Goombella, Koops, Madame Flurry, Yoshi, which you can name him in this game, and of course I went with Bob, because you can always name someone Bob, Vivian, Admiral Bobbery, and Miss Meows. These companions are miles ahead of the ones introduced in Paper Mario 64. Not that those were bad, mind you, but there is a lot more effort on display here, which makes these characters have a much deeper tale to tell. Each of these buddies have special abilities, just like in the 64 game. The first 2 companions are not that exciting though, if I'm being honest. Goombella takes on the role of Goombario from the first game. She's basically a girl version of him with some more character. Koops is in the same boat as Goombella because he is just a more fleshed out Kooper. But once Madame Flurry enters the game, the companions become much more unique. Madame Flurry allows you to blow away pieces of the environment. Bob lets you fly for a short period of time. Vivian banishes you to the Shadow Realm. Admiral Bobbery doesn't let any fucking wall stand in his side. And Miss Meows can smell treasure in the surrounding area. All of these characters give you more options at your disposal when exploring the overworld, and between their abilities and your weapon upgrades, there are tons of puzzles that make you use your skills in different permutations for a very satisfying feeling upon solving them.
And of course, all of this translates into the battle system. Wrong game! Pocket Dimensions are back, but with some added flair.
The options are all here. Mario has access to his previous attacks by jumping, his hammer, and his items. Now, star power has been replaced with special power that uses stars to power it.
What?
These function the same, just like they did before. You have a meter that loads up throughout the fight, and you can spend certain amounts of the meter to unleash powerful attacks and buffs.
However, there is a way to fill up the meter faster.
Paper Mario: The Thousand-Year Door puts you on the stage in front of an audience. Not only does this make the battling much more enjoyable to look at, but it adds some fun RNG elements where the stage will break and the lights will drop or the backgrounds will fall and bust all over the place. The audience will observe you, and when you successfully land a hit with the hammer or jump on multiple enemies, the audience will cheer and fill that meter up by a small percentage. However, this goes both ways, as if you mess up attacks or don't put on a good show, people will leave, or even worse, throw items at Mario to hurt him. Action commands also make a comeback here, and if you land an action command, you get more cheers and more audience members. On top of all of this, the game decides to add another feature, stylish moves. This is where you press A at certain points of Mario and his companions' attacks for them to strike a sick pose. And speaking of Mario's buddies, they've been built upon in the battle system as well. They now have their own health bar, and you can swap positions with them for even more strategic permutations.
What the fuck, Midnight?
Just like in Paper Mario 64, when you finish a battle, you receive star points to upgrade one of 3 stats, HP, FP, or BP. When you upgrade health points, Mario can take more hits before he falls in battle. More flower points gives Mario a number of points that you can spend to unleash powerful moves if you have the proper badge equipped to Mario. And lastly, upgrading badge points allows you to stick more badges to Mario for a larger range of moves. The badges feel more balanced in this game, and Mario has so many at his disposal that it can help incentivize more playthroughs.
Well, the battle system is amazing. There are some things that don't make the game perfect. If it was, I would have just made a short review saying that it was perfect. Anyways,
for those of you that have better things to do with your life besides owning the Nintendo Lunchbox, their discs were super tiny. Because of this, Nintendo had to implement a lot of compression techniques when making their games.
You're probably asking, Kevin, what does this have to do with the game being bad? Well, you can't cram a 102-hour RPG into this shit effectively.
The amount of game that they were able to fit on this tiny thing is commemorable, but there are moments in the game where the devs cut corners and use cheap gameplay mechanics to make the game longer. Chapter 4 is the worst of these, as the whole section is only made up of a few areas. You go back and forth between the town and tower in this chapter 4 times. 4 times! And it gets really old, really fast, and I don't think I need to remind you of this white shit. Backtracking is a serious problem in this game. I wouldn't mind it as much as if it was just the side missions, but backtracking is all over the main quests. Because of this, while the battling system has had a nice overhaul, it's still annoying to have to fight an enemy every time you enter a zone while you are dragging through said backtracking. Also, this conveyor belt can go to hell. That took way longer than needed, and I stand by that firmly.
Paper Mario: The Thousand-Year Door is a good game, but not a perfect one. And that's something that should be stressed. Not all games are perfect, but I did have a lot of enjoyment with this game all the same. I can definitely see why people think it's the best out of the series, because it does everything a good sequel should do. It builds off of the original, makes the combat system more tolerable, and sets a tone for a Mario game that we've never seen before in a Nintendo game before. If you haven't played it, you definitely should, and it's definitely worth adding to your GameCube collection. Oh, that's Bill about my investment. Let's see if he can get my money back. Bill!
F you, bro. I don't have time for you. I'm rich now. Why don't you go review Super Paper Mario or something, you fucking dumb piece of fucking shit.
I'm glad you see it my way. I'll see you on Friday.
Okay. I didn't actually think that would work, but it did.